Have you played ahead? Ah.
Oh, clearly I have to turn on the volume on my channel, of course. Anyway, okay, we're starting. Hello, guys. Well, we're starting.
Hello.
We're starting episode 4. We have a few new people. We have Voltage,
Yay! Hi there.
who will be playing Gregson.
That's me.
Yeah, that's him, right there in the flesh. Reginald, he's gonna play a character in the next stream, but he's gonna be Adrian and probably one of the jurors. Sammy, he's not here yet, but she will be playing Iris Wilson. I gotta emphasize that before my brain goes the other side. Anyway, here we go.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back. Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
19th February, 9:47 a.m., British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. What the fuck?
Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo?
No, not at all.
It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious. I felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day even in the middle of the night.
What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SS Boria, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that place. I spent the entire night rolling from one side to the mattress to the other.
Oh yes, it really was a sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except when I learnt that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare.
Oops. Sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance was so inviting. I just wandered in without thinking.
In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill.
I really am sorry.
Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less.
London is a scary place.
Ah, good morning to you at this early hour.
Oh, yes. Wait. Well.
Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday.
Give me a second.
All right. I'm just gonna wait till he comes back now and read this line.
Alright.
I sure hope those Steam notifications don't show up in the stream. That's all. That's a long drink Sammy's taking.
Sometimes you're just that thirsty, you know?
Yeah.
Anyone got any jokes?
Maybe she's making a very fancy drink.
Maybe.
I could go for a very fancy drink right now, actually.
Man, what's the deal with fancy drinks, right?
You take a liquid and then you charge me $30 for it? What's
You're
up with
charging me $30 for something that I can drink
at home?
at home?
Very
If I wanted a medium soda, I'd buy a 2-liter and just get the cup. Or something, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it'd be $30 in total. At most, it'd be like 10.
Ryusuke, did you account for inflation?
What?
Did you account for inflation, Ryusuke?
Okay.
Did you almost call me Ryunosuke?
Yes, I
You're
did.
gonna
I'm
call
sorry.
her Ryunosuke?
It's okay. It's okay. What's the
I'm
difference?
still used to
really
teasing you as Ryunosuke, so it's funny.
What's the difference? There's a no in the middle.
Arkham is back.
Yeah, I'm gonna start
Arkham
now.
is back.
Yeah. Susato is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart.
Yeah, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices.
Oh, yes. It was very eye-opening. Thank you.
And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end.
Yes, I've already been appraised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed.
Oh,
No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a full-fledged lawyer. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land.
thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now.
Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem.
Another case? Already?
Nothing trains a lawyer better than the practical experience. I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I?
It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it.
What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for?
Culpability of the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment.
Well, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
I'm really glad we got this flashback.
Me too.
I know, right?
That was great.
Yeah.
I just can't help but wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent.
Mr. Naruhodo.
It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended.
Well, you needn't let it trouble you a second longer.
Sorry?
What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
You didn't notice it was really smoky in here this morning?
Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial.
No!
What? Mr. McGilded is dead?
I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk.
I don't understand. What happened? How could he be dead?
After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Hello.
Hi, Sammy.
Hi.
Sammy!
Hi, Heidi. Hi, everybody.
Hi. This is
Hello.
Actually, this is the first time I've actually been in a call with Heidi and everybody else.
Hello.
Yeah.
there's some first timers here as well.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Well, I know. So I know Heidi's playing Ryunosuke. I'm just kidding.
And I'm
Who is
playing
everybody else?
Susanoo. I'm just.
I know.
So,
yeah, I know. You guys.
I
you guys
was
know.
brought on to also play Ryunosuke. I'm
Wait a minute, I was also on here to play Ryunosuke.
Oh
That
shoot.
pointing meme.
Wait. If you're Ryunosuke and he's Ryunosuke,
Are there any other Ryunosuke's I need to know about?
meow.
Wow, all of y'all were promised Ryunosuke. I'm sorry, Heidi beat you out.
well, I wasn't promised. I was just like, it was a verbal thing. I didn't get it in writing or anything. So
Oh, well,
Not
it's okay.
contracted.
You might just need to sign for it next time.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
just pick up someone who looks cool later.
Okay, there you go. That works.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, you're already here. Wow.
Yeah, we're already here. You'll find out who plays what as we go on.
Well, I know who the main characters are, at least minus Sherlock.
Obviously, it's Van Zeeks.
There's no. I'm confused.
What?
I'm so confused too.
All
Who's
right.
Sherlock?
Oh,
Sure.
right. Oh, sorry, Herlock. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, the
Excuse-
great detective. he's
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah, Mr.
character from the
Sholmes.
Lupin.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's right.
Hair. I heard his name is Hairlock Sholmes.
Wait,
Ugh.
they changed him to make him German in this game?
Don't
Mr.
worry.
Lockjaw.
All right, let's go. Let's continue.
Sorry.
Don't
I
worry.
will play every yes and that is given to me.
All right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yes, of course. That was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded has been accused of.
Precisely.
Oh, you have a nice voice. Sorry.
Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter,
Right?
the omnibus went up in flames.
No.
How could such a thing have happened?
That is being investigated as we speak. But already... The police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of McGilded.
That's awful.
The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere.
That bailiff really needs to be... That bailiff really needs to pay more attention.
And how could that have happened?
That is also being investigated as we speak.
Don't worry, Red. We'll be here doing our thing. You vibe there as long as you need to.
Red, if you don't vibe, we might actually get upset with you.
Yeah.
We are all just kind of vibing anyways.
There's
Yeah.
gonna be some fucking problems if you don't vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you don't vibe, we're gonna find you and we're gonna break
You
your
will
kneecap
relax, or else.
Yeah,
so that
but
you'll have
relaxing
to
is a
lay down.
requirement.
Okay. Let's
You can't have fun, just relax.
Red.
Okay, let's continue.
Just relax.
Thinking back now. Immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilded did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus.
Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection.
Sorry? What inspection?
They're gonna examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself.
An inspection of the omnibus. Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard has had any intention of re-examining the carriage.
You're really gonna make a count, Red? Are you really? But then who was Mr. McGilded talking to? About?
Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police.
Poor Mr. McGilded.
Whose side are you on, Sammy?
You should have taken me money when you had the chance.
Yours always. Alright. Yeah, sure, Sammy.
So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... Wow!
Mr. Hodder means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old.
Wow. Susato-san has such a way with words.
And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones.
Burn.
The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can.
The most advanced in the world, is it?
It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair.
Simple? That was simple?
As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it's a trial you couldn't lose.
Don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple.
The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny?
No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much at least is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I have prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before.
What's going on? What was he going to say before?
You perhaps give us more details about the new case you mentioned?
Don't tell me. It's a murder, and the trial starts in 10 minutes.
It's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different.
Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind?
That is to say, no one has died, as yet. And the trial will not be today. There is plenty of time to research the case thoroughly.
Oh no, he knows about my pancakes.
What?
It's in the chat.
Persona? Reference? I don't know.
23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise.
So the trial's tomorrow then.
Give me a sec.
Okay. It's okay to talk in the call, Sammy. You just gotta wait till everyone's done. Whoever's talking is finished.
Do you think football in England was as popular it is now as it was back when this game takes place?
Do you think it would have lasted it this long if it wasn't?
I mean, that's a fair question.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because I think about that a lot.
Ball is eternal.
Mm-hmm.
Ball is eternal.
That's not what I said.
Yeah.
That is what you said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like really curious if they had diehard sports fans back in this era.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Remember, the Olympics have been around for ages.
I'm just curious then, like, what a rowdy fan would have looked like, you know?
Hold on. Let me see.
Like a rowdy sports fan in the Herlock-Sholmes era?
Football.
A Sholmes era sports fan?
I bet you've never thought about that.
No.
Haven't actually, I will admit.
No.
When was... I'm just gonna say when was soccer founded, because anytime I look up football, it's always stupid. Why are we not a Roma? I'm not. What? Okay, hold on. History of football. There we go. What? Google's being dumb. Hold on.
Google.
Yeah, it is.
If you spell it F-U-T-B-A-L, it might.
Football.
You might find something else.
Maybe.
Yo, well.
Okay. I like how on Wikipedia it's called association football.
Yeah, that's where the word soccer comes from.
It was.
Association football.
Oh my God! Really?
What? Wait, what?
Oh.
What do you mean?
Oh.
What do you mean?
No
Oh,
way.
why? How come everyone's
Really? That's where
Association.
soccer comes
Is that
from?
really
I
where
never
soccer
knew
comes
that.
Yes.
what?
I actually have no idea what you guys are owing about.
I
gotta
don't
be
know
real.
either. I got so
I'm
confused.
pogging out right
I
now.
don't know what's going on.
The
Where
reason
the
that it's
name
called
soccer?
soccer.
We're waiting
Yeah,
on.
where's
So
the-
we're waiting on Arkham. So then they start going on about if football was still going on in this time period, and Sammy checked it out, and and it's association football or something.
And they
Yeah,
take
that's
the-
what it's called.
They take like the SOC in association and take that out of it and make it sock, and then it's soccer.
Oh,
It's like you gotta play
Why-
football, you gotta play
Dang,
soccer.
actually.
Oh.
Solka.
Soccer.
Solka. So the history of football in England dates back to at least the 8th century.
All right, there you go.
Well, okay.
I mean,
Ball
they
has
also
been
got
out for
rugby.
at least
and
12
That'd be a while.
centuries.
I would love to see Ryunosuke slide tackle someone.
I
be
personally
fun.
would also like to see that.
I feel like he'd be the one getting slide tackled though.
No.
By
No,
Susato.
He has a hidden he's a crouching tiger, hidden badass.
Can't
He's
touch
simply
me.
crouching.
I'm a wild animal.
He's crazy.
Oh my god,
I can't be tamed, man.
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 My natural animal instincts, man. There's something else.
I'll just point at you really hard.
I gotta get kept on a
Oh
leash.
man,
Listen,
don't point. That's rude.
You have to gesture, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Ace Attorney, but instead of pointing, they're just like calmly gesturing with an open hand. Oh,
Yeah,
what a
Objection.
turnabout.
or like with a peace sign, like Pokemon did way back in the 90s.
Yeah.
they did do that, didn't they?
They do that.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if they do that still, but that was like a big thing with like the Kanto
It was a
region.
big thing. You're right. Because I have like very vague memories of that.
I think there was like an anime thing at that point with the
Yeah, because that's a
Yeah.
90s
showing a
anime
V
thing
sign
for
at every
sure.
opportunity. Like Sailor
was a
Moon did that a lot too,
Yeah,
and it
exactly.
wasn't always a
Sailor
Sailor V
Moon.
reference.
Sailor
Oh,
Moon
yeah.
was like 80s, right?
80s, 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Around that time.
All right.
Sailor Moon was huge.
It's still
Yeah.
Still is.
my girl. I literally have a Sailor Moon poster up from my line of sight. So
Nice.
You know, something tells me with that being the case, it is still pretty big.
yeah,
I haven't even watched the new one.
What's it called?
Crystal?
Yeah,
Crystal, yeah.
Sailor Moon Crystal? Yeah. I think I saw like parts of it and I wasn't really a fan of the new art style, so I was like, eh.
I think I watched that one.
Mm,
Is that the one with the mirror?
That is. I mean, that's
Arkham's back.
one of the arcs. Oh, welcome
hey,
back.
Arkham.
Welcome back.
Your guy is just shrugging all coolly and everything. Okay.
You just talked about soccer.
Is everything all right?
Oh, yes.
Do I have a really bad delay because my lines are on screen for a long time?
Yeah, it was a delay, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was... Well, it left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, audio is crunchy.
Sammy. Sammy. Why?
Hello, 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 hello.
Why are you counting? Well, don't help Red. Okay. Is everyone good? Okay. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilden's trial.
Ah, yes. I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense.
We are bottom tier. Oh!
If the situation remains unchanged, the trial will start tomorrow, with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome.
The most terrible end awaits the defendant.
Yes, that's right.
Here we go again.
Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits.
Last time she mentioned 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time.
And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There is something I should like to ask you.
Oh, what's that?
Yesterday, you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds.
Oh, boy. Oh, well, Cosmo always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world works so that he can change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing.
Oh,
Another thing? Continue.
On the way here, on the steamship, he said something to me. There's something very important that I have to do.
Sorry, my bad. I forgot.
Something
happens.
It was
very...
so long ago. You don't even remembers him anymore.
Sorry, Arkham.
I do, damn it. I just forgot for that moment. My bad.
Sorry, Arkham. Go ahead.
Something very important? And what exactly would that be?
He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done. If he'd...
You're out of time. Well, thank you for an entertaining discussion. And, well, thank you for an enlightening discussion.
Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Asugi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me.
I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to appraise you of the details.
How long has he been standing there?
So, I wish you the best of luck, and I bid you farewell.
Bye.
something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean?
I wish I knew. But honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we had better talk to the We had better talk to the detective, don't you think?
Yes, you're right.
I hope I'm just imagining it. But I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. What is he eating? I never figured that out.
I think it's fish and chips.
Yeah.
Could be fish and chips.
Yeah,
it looks like it.
Fish and chips!
I'm
It's
really going for some
definitely
fish and chips right now. Oh my god, looks so good.
Or at least chips.
To the cup.
yeah.
Nope, the big chunky thing in the middle is fish.
Yeah, you guys are right. Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
Where can I get an infinite thing of fish and chips?
Be a video game
I
character.
know, right?
Damn it.
Especially in a newspaper cone.
He keeps spawning a new one. Amazing.
It's like a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Are we just gonna
Infinite fish.
it is kind of fascinating to watch.
mesmerizing?
I mean, usually, where do you put it all is supposed to be said after you eat it, not during.
We may never
Not
know.
on the receiving end.
Yeah. Could we trouble you?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Lovely weather, isn't it?
What's the weather got to do with anything? Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eaten out of your hand, you know.
This is really good for Gregson. I like it.
Yeah, I really like it!
Yeah. I'm glad I picked him. This is good job, Voltage.
Yeah, good
Oh,
job.
you guys have such beautiful voices.
Radiating all the Cockney energy.
Yeah. Ugh. But Susato-san told me it was foolproof.
I'm a busy man. A very busy man.
That's aggressive.
There's a
eating.
crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to.
Seems like you're eating fish and chips more than giving us a talking to.
Listen,
Before that, you were just
doing
standing
two
off the
things
side.
at once, sweetheart.
That is the most aggressive eating I've ever seen.
I haven't got the time of day to sit down and eat my fish and chips whenever I want, so that's what I'm gonna do.
That lip
I can
sync was
investigate
perfect.
crime while I eat my fish and chips.
Just hope you don't choke.
Yeah. Oh, I'm ever so sorry.
Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the big wigs these days. And all because some pumpkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters.
There's no need to rip us apart as well.
Don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer.
Eh?
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant,
Eh?
It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it?
The sass.
It is unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine.
Unbelievable! How did she pull that off?
So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard.
Gregson! Inspector Gregson.
What's the matter with Susato-san?
Fangirling
Does this detective's name mean something to her? I didn't.
Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson?
You're acting like you know this man, Ms. Susato. But he's a London detective.
Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact.
Hey, Crane. Yes, that's Adara Morrow. Yeah. Very well?
He features prominently in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, in that publication. What's that? What's it called again? Rants magazine?
That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. My goodness, rivalry!
Red says you're immaculate again.
Thank you.
Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time.
Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is a pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words.
That's his highest praise?
Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see.
That he is not. And thanks to that magazine, my name's all known all over London town now.
That's great, isn't it?
I have to admit, to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof.
Well, that's wonderful.
No, it is not! There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. So people are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure.
Rumors?
Are you quite sure?
Each time since they start appearing in those stories, the fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, I love it.
I agree.
Do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you?
Like I said, they whisper, so I can't exactly catch what they're saying, but I know what folk are like. I'm sure whatever they're saying is eggs is eggs.
I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work.
Oh dear. Perhaps a sudden rise to fame does change people.
Thank you for the kind words, Lucario. Let's see. The case. So, about the case that Lord Chief... about the case that Lord Chief Justice mentioned before.
Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler.
Oh dear. That probably means... As far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more Oh my goodness. That as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated.
I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right.
A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in the hospital unconscious.
That's despicable! What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind?
I suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with a Susato takedown, would you?
That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo.
Brace yourself, Ryunosuke. You angered her now.
Anyway, after something of a whirlwind of investigation, a criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest.
So, there must have been something left of the scene that led you directly to the culprit?
Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the poor person in question. There was no poor in that sentence.
Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one.
Sorry?
There's nothing you can do. There's no way you to help the bloke now.
Why ever not?
Simple. The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Barrack Van Zeeks.
Dun, dun, dun.
No!
Oh no.
Sounds like you've heard of him then.
Oh, yes. We are very familiar with Mr. Lord Van Zeeks. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself.
The Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Barrack von Zeeks, who we faced in court only yesterday.
Mr. McGilder told us about him after the trial, didn't he? Before the trial!
This is such a good day for us, isn't it?
What is wrong?
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I haven't read in ages.
I believe that's still Gregson.
Oh, excuse me. I thought this flashback was Susato.
Or
When
is-
Van Zeek stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. Accused, that's a choice.
I like it.
Why not?
Did Gregson just stuff those in his pocket and then pull them back out?
That's correct, sunshine.
Does that mean his pocket is hammer space to be able to hold infinite fish and chips, or
We're not supposed
Just
to
to
know.
consider?
I just assumed that the cone itself is just like magical. He just produces infinite fish. and
Okay.
chip.
Okay, but
It's like a
consider.
TARDIS.
Consider. Maybe he's just a little nasty.
Mm.
Moving
Maybe he's just a little
on!
nasty.
Moving on!
Okay then.
Travis, fucker.
I don't think I want any elaboration. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
I
Yes.
don't think you would want it.
Mm-mm. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname. I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he's advocating against is found guilty. Is that it?
Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector. In yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty.
And what of it?
One thing. Chat, let me know if we turn into demons in the audio. Just let me know, okay? Then we'll take like 30 seconds till it stops.
Oh, well, I think... That means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant.
No, you really don't have a clue, do you?
What do you mean?
and the fact that the defendant died of suspicious circumstances about half an hour after the trial?
What he said. What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead.
Uh,
Magnus McGilded came a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you?
What are you saying?
Look, if Van Zeeks could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles. He works magic. Black magic. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you.
Really supposed to believe that?
Ow. Right, well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips.
Are you?
Gregson?
Yes.
I
You'll
find
have
that
to trust me on
Not
this
even
one.
possible.
So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there.
It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place.
That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself.
Oh boy, I'm talking to myself today, aren't I? You branded him a criminal already?
He's as good as. Shaking like a leaf in his cell, he is.
Is that
He'll
like
give
a-
you a chuckle, if nothing else.
Is it like a journal in like his hat?
Yeah. Like a notepad.
He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way.
Inmate 53. Thank you.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Man's just pieced out.
Yeah. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say.
Something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage too.
Whoops. But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find that sight that funny.
So,
Oops. If I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try. So I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help?
did you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant.
Thank you. So then, shall we?
Yes. Let's go.
We're off to the prison.
Sasaki-san!
Here we go.
Here I go. Here we go.
I wonder what he'll be like.
Well, it doesn't
Oh.
matter.
I find this character endearing.
Yeah.
It
19
takes a little
February.
while- Sorry.
Sorry. 19 February. Local prison, cell 9. Go ahead.
I was just thinking it took a while for him to grow on me, but he's a good character in the end. Okay, go.
Okay.
Best character in this game, hands down.
Wrong.
So these are British prison cells.
Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon.
All right. Yes. And having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls.
Oh, Don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem worse.
Apparently, our client is in this cell here. But it's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. Wonder what he's like.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
I was just curious on how they're going to translate this character is all I was going to say.
You'll see.
Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you.
Thank you, Arkham.
Thank you.
Stop hiding at the back of the cell and show your face at once.
Am I a cat? As yet with no name? Call me by a number! It's utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable! I refuse to answer!
Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think is going on here?
I have no idea. But I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That tirade of complaints was in Japanese. In English! Excuse me, but who...
Quiet! They're all around. I know they are. They're watching, listening. Even now, I can sense it.
Right. So could I ask you...
There you are! You've come to country, haven't you? Don't try to hide it! You're a ghost!
A ghost?
We mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you... Japanese, by any chance?
This is beyond my wildest dreams! Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine. We're just a little surprised, that's all.
Imagine it! It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix in a foreign land. So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole is most monumentally moving moment.
Yama, you're peeking, but you sound great.
Totally.
Agreed.
This is the kind of character that I feel like he would peek even if you were just talking to him directly.
I am so
the most in character you could be, and you're killing it.
I'm gonna lower the gain there. Can you still hear me from here?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was incredible.
That was
I agree.
lovely. Beautiful.
That was like, I played this game and not once did I ever picture him getting to that level, but it fits so much better than I think I ever dreamed.
I agree. I don't know what I would have pictured for this character.
This is really amazing to listen to. Everyone's so talented. I love it.
Thank you so much.
That was maximally exciting and good.
Thank you. Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese?
Oh, what compassion my fellow countrymen show. To dispatch my first-class lawyer all the way to Japan, from Japan to defend a mere foreign steward, noble, nurturing, never-failing Nippon. First-class lawyer? Oh dear. I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here.
I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened?
Am I still peeking?
No.
Okay, cool.
Well, you better be doing the poses while you.
I am.
Okay, good.
That's all we ask for, and you're doing
Why you
incredibly.
detained as a suspect, for example.
Yes, I can. I will. Stay solid and silent.
Not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy.
Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba.
I am a visiting student, sent here by our government. Noble to be notorious, named Natsume! Suzuki Natsume.
This is a delight.
Soseki, I'm feeling woozy. Give me a second.
Drink yourself some water, man.
Hey, man, take your time.
Don't hurt your voice just for a stream.
Yeah.
That is also
As much fun as it may be,
I'll tone it down.
True. It's a lesson we have to learn.
it's all a lesson that we all learn.
Yeah. Soseki.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
Soseki Natsume is son. What an unusual name. Call me Soseki, please. I'm a poet, you see. A writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias?
That's right, Miss Naruhodo-san.
No! Don't be so prosaic! It's much more refined than that! And a haiku, that really reminds me of home.
Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent over here by the government?
Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go study English. First, I had to suffer that misery, and now this! It's beyond the pale. Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No, I mean, I had an interest in Great Britain for some years now, of course. Oh. But just because the government tells you to do something, does it mean you can do it? No!
What do you mean?
If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable! I see. Only the other day, I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on whitewashing!
You must be a man of great standing.
Oh yes, so I'm often told. And often like to be told, it seems.
Perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san.
I didn't do it. I didn't commit that atrocious murder.
Murder?
Oh, no. It's all right. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes. Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see anyone. What? If I'd seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here?
Oh dear, it seems that this case is becoming rather complicated.
Why
Crunchy
me?
audio!
Ah,
As is the audio.
Okay, here I go. Okay, I'm still okay.
why me? Why me? Why did that stupid woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, irredeemably inconvenient.
So Soseki-san was there in the scene, but he didn't see the attacker.
It's vital that we find out more about the case.
About the case.
It was that accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings.
Sure, the bookshop wasn't accursed too.
As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of the stone at my feet.
How terrible.
I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly ghoulish grim graveyard!
Slight exaggeration there, perhaps.
I was terrified. I had to get out. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings.
That's not good.
They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that.
Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours?
Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that. I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people.
What a mood.
Man, that's me.
I see. A young woman, unknown to Soseki-san. And at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass you?
Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one?
Oh, great.
So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it?
Hmm? What conundrum? What do you mean, Suzaku-san? What's the conundrum?
Well, if what Soseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says that he didn't know the victim, and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen.
I did.
But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit.
You! What did you say?
Nothing! I did say anything! Excuse me. Oops. Perhaps I thought that a little loudly.
Did you get my line?
No.
I actually didn't
No,
hear
we
it,
didn't
I'm
hear
sorry.
you.
Oh, okay. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested?
Sorry?
Didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place?
Oh, yes. She's right. It was him? That's a great detective. He led the police to me.
Good job. Good job.
A cursed great detective? Could it be? I shan't forget the man. I shan't forget the man's name as long as I live. With his hearty laugh and self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed busybody be gone! May you be cursed until the end of your days, Hairlock Sholmes!
I knew it.
If you're talking, we can't hear you.
What is going on?
You have like.
Okay, I heard that.
Yeah.
Mr. Sholmes?
Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure.
It was the morning after the nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a silver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me. This is the police. Put the weapon down. Yes, it was a thin silver, and yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting dietary discrimination devils!
You clearly had a trying morning yesterday.
It was in the middle of the policeman, grinning like a Cheshire. That Hairlock Sholmes.
It's actually just a Herlock Sholmes. He's English.
I've been found out that he was a famous name in detection here in London.
Yes, the great detective is really very well known.
And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me! This weak, stooped kitten of a man!
I wonder what great deduction process led him to this conclusion this time.
Do you mean to say Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable.
Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged in their way in.
Of course you were. That's only natural.
I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English.
Impossible English?
Thing that's foreign film flammery!
Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English.
Good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, yes I do, and I'm fine. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles, and before I knew it, I was thrown in here.
Oh dear. I'm afraid that's hardly surprising.
Now I couldn't hear that line.
I didn't. I took a swig of water.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Can't tell.
Yeah, if it's all right, you you got. If I put my my headset on the side and turn it up a bit, you guys might hear double, but is that fine? Because it's heating up my head.
Well, you can try it.
All right.
That is completely fine. Do what you gotta.
Yeah, do what you gotta do, man.
All right.
Yeah, fine with me.
Can you hear double or no?
No
No.
double.
Nah, man.
All
Nope.
right.
You
Okay.
remain singular.
All right. I feel better now without it. All right.
Good.
Okay.
I'm fine. He's not fine now.
Mr. Naruhodo Esquire!
Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo, and when we're speaking English, a simple Mister is more than enough.
Oh, yes. All right, yes. They really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you?
Well,
Why is it hard to say yes to me?
well, the truth is, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself. I'm a study chore.
Student?
I have defended a case in the Old Bailey, only the one, though. But at the moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means.
Oh, Naruhodo-san.
I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm sort of a locum lawyer, I suppose.
But that armband, that's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire.
It's a keepsake from the. It's a keepsake. It's a keepsake. It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend.
A keepsake? I know exactly what they're trying to say about me.
Oh, who do you mean?
The lawyers, all the British defense lawyers, they won't defend me.
Goodness, why do you say that?
For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit.
It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san.
And anyway, I'm a student from the overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before. In my earshot without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And oh, of course, the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, this man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway.
That's awful.
They're wrong. I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there in the streets. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my faith to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I could see it. I can see what you've been through.
Soseki-san, it's just that... Give me a little time, please.
Hmm? I'll do what I can for the time being. What do you mean?
We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure.
Hmm. Oh, yes, yes. Thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Welcome, student, Mr. Naruto Esquire.
We should be going then, Miss Naruhodo-san. It's so much easier to Naruhodo-san than Mr. Naruhodo. We have a
Yeah.
case to prepare for.
All right.
We'll see you later, pal.
I'll be seeing you. Certainly, me and my vocal cords.
Have fun in prison.
19th February, Briar Road.
The art in this game's so pretty.
Yeah. So this is where it happened. Briar Road.
Yeah. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak.
That is their job, you know.
But, Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. A real Bobby's helmet!
What? The helmet?
Of course! I have to try one on one day.
Well, I hope your happy dream comes true.
What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Ooh, Inspector Gregson!
This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware.
Yes, of course. We're here to investigate.
So, you've been to the holding cells then. What do you make of the criminal?
Well, as you put it, Inspector, he's a suspect.
Huh. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. Doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens, and the verdict's a foregone conclusion.
Stone cold air of rejection.
London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air.
That makes it worse somehow.
Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place.
The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am.
And you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet.
It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take a no nonsense in his duty protecting the city. Oh.
Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful?
Being a London Bobby is a hard going, I can tell you.
Oh, really?
First thing in the morning, you know what he does. Goes round and rouses all the laborers on his beat so they can get off to work.
What? He wakes people up?
Yep. Raps on their windows with a long pole. And myself going back a bit.
I had no idea.
The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance.
I can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way.
Let me see. 20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama.
On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far.
And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Gas street lamps. Yeah. Yeah, see?
Oops. Did you say your line, Heidi?
You can get the history too, in case.
My.
And I suppose in between all of those duties, Bobby is expected to investigate cases as well.
Chase after criminals trying to evade the law.
I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly. More alongside. But yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit.
Oh. I'd always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. Relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do.
It happened around 5 in the evening 2 days ago. Just there, on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind.
Is it right that the woman is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in the hospital.
I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all.
I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course.
Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want.
Really? Are you sure?
It's the odd policy to give lawyers defending suspects the odd bit of information to go on.
They haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still.
Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept.
The location of the map has been entered into the court record.
Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head-scratcher, is it?
Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but...
But just because he didn't see anyone... doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present.
I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure.
How?
Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed.
What?
We have two very reliable witnesses, no less.
Ah,
It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them.
There were witnesses now? Who were these witnesses, Inspector?
A fellow and his wife. And the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard.
A policeman? That might change things.
this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked.
Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them bang in the act and all that.
Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions?
Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow.
Oh.
I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So that'll give you something to look forward to.
That's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems.
A policeman witnessed the incident. Dear Judicial Assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed.
Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have been warned. I could have warned me too of that. Oh yes, one more thing,
yes,
Inspector.
What?
The person who led you to the suspect. I hear that was Sherlock Sholmes.
What are you bringing him up for?
Was it something I said? The color has drained from his cheeks.
Who did you hear that name from?
Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings.
I'm sure it was a result of one of Mr. Sholmes's inspirational great deductions.
Fiddle faddle! That man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere.
Oh.
I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case.
Yes, that was our experience with him too.
Yes, he is quite...
Sounds about right.
Astounding, isn't he?
He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he?
Gibble gabble!
Ah!
Ever seen this before?
Oh, yes. That's Rant's magazine.
The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Holmes appears.
Who's Sherlock?
Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Holmes tale at all.
Well, I suppose there is an element of that.
We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals.
That can't really be true, can it, Inspector?
I love it.
Squeeze my you hard so they crumble.
Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Okay.
Sir, I don't know if you're crushing your chips.
It's not like they're those American ones or whatever. They're like the crumbly ones. These ones are nice and greasy, just how I like them.
You've been to America?
No, but I've heard stories, believe it or not.
Oh.
It's our job in the Scotland Yard to be educated and informed in all things across the globe.
Impressive.
Including your country.
Oh.
Wait, you mean
Which I'd
Japan?
never heard
I
of.
hadn't heard of it before.
Which I never really paid much attention to.
Right, good. How about tomorrow's trial?
That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you gonna defend him or not?
Well,
Makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole.
Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean?
There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange, though.
Sorry?
The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now.
Yes, we did hear something to that effect.
And the only people he bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals. The violent ones.
Master criminals?
The violent ones?
That's right. He handpicks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins.
But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang... but Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely.
That's just my point, Sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase.
Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it?
Oh, there's got to be more to it. There's some reason he's taken an interest.
Really? What sort of reason, Inspector?
You think I can tell what's going on inside of the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial.
Are we really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it? Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective.
Mr. Nanahodo, can I make a suggestion?
Oh, yes, what is it? It delayed. It lagged.
Or she said her line and we just couldn't hear her again.
It lagged out of existence.
Well, it seemed to me that we must speak with him about this.
By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes?
Yes! Mr. Herlock Sholmes, exactly!
Look at these shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all of this, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He really did. She makes him an involved party in this case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again.
The trouble is, We have no idea of the man's address!
It's Baker Street!
How do you know that?
It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Crunchy audio!
Crunchy audio!
Crunchy audio.
Right. Everyone good?
Yes, everything is great.
Okay. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing stopping us from going, I suppose. We'd better try to find ourselves out our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable.
Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage.
So we're to have our reunion already. With a great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. You nodded your head. Did you hear me?
It's implied that his blue text is actually his mumbling out loud.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's see.
Excuse me, Sunshine. What are you talking to yourself for?
Nothing. Here you come,
Pinch
Sam.
me, we must be dreaming.
Hey, it's us. We're so glad indeed.
Now, doot, doot, doot. The ADR. Shit, I was too early.
We don't have to.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day.
Good day.
Goodbye.
This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
His voice is so much
Her
higher
eyes
than
are
me.
so shimmery.
Yeah.
Sounds way different.
Yeah. All right. 19th February, 12:53 p.m. Sholmes' suit. Sweet.
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 What are you doing inside the man's suit?
I'm just Mr. Narrator guy is just gonna go to his corner now. Bye.
Bye, Mr. Narrator.
The case of the suit.
So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. Is it as described in the stories, Ms. Susato? Susato-san?
Many, many famous cases have been solved here in this very room.
Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I've never read the stories, so it's hard to get as quite as excited about it as she seems to be.
The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it! The romanticism! Can you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, I suppose I can, yes.
So, if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer.
I like how she just twirled around like a mannequin.
Please, don't mind me.
She's obsessed. Well, it looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me? Is anybody home? It's you, Sam.
Oh, do we have a visitor?
Oh no.
Hello. Is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes?
Hello? Wait. Aren't you...
Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once.
I'm sure it's the same girl. Miss Zato, did you see the girl who was just here?
Oh, yes. Isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case.
The King of Bavaria?
King Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund von Ormstein, of course.
Hold on, let me. Now you moved them.
Oh, sorry. I could go back here.
Okay. Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund von Ornstein.
Oh.
Oh.
I messed up on the last one.
Look at that.
Sigismund von Ormstein. Oh my goodness.
It's okay. You did a great job.
Good enough. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment and look over there.
The tea is brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well.
Oh, it's you!
I knew it. Suzato-san recognizes her too.
There you are! And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
I have not done an accent in years. I'm sorry.
Doing great.
It sounds great to me. I mean, voice. Yeah. It's a girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilded's trial in the defendant's antechamber.
I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London.
Oh, yes, it was. Challenging.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know.
Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color?
Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor.
Hooray! It's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. And you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck.
Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance?
Oh, you know Hurley, do you?
Hurley? Mr. Sholmes... Mr. Sholmes to you, surely.
Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see.
Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's run out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas.
Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after this trial. And only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us?
I'm clairvoyant.
Did she deduce all those things, do you think?
And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite?
Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Watson. Whoops.
My name is Iris Wilson. I live here along with I live here together with Hurley.
Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name. Well, what's the matter?
No, wait, this can't be. Did you just say that your name is Wilson?
What's the matter with Susato-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden?
Yes, that's right. And what are your names?
Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan.
Oh, sorry. Can you not hear me?
No.
Damn it, what's going on? Sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you.
Lovely. Susie and Runo. Got it.
Susie?
And Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her. I don't even know where to start.
Yes, and so do I.
Took a while to load, huh? It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey.
Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm so sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming.
At the time, we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Ah!
Like this?
Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you?
Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade.
Oh, Ginny? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket.
So we found out.
It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that.
Are you referring to that trial disrupting gun-like contraption?
Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should have... Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions.
This girl is dangerous.
Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that. So she could apologize to my trusty technician.
Sorry, you're a technician?
Hurley, of course, silly.
Hurley?
Yes, Herlock. Herlock Sholmes. We live here together.
I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter.
Sorry, my baby's crying in the back.
Oh.
Daughter? Not likely.
What?
I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I?
Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes?
Well, I expect you've found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So, the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate.
Your roommate?
I hope you don't mind me asking, but Iris, how old are you?
10 return at last this year.
Well, what of your mother and father?
Oh no, they're not around.
Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there.
Must ask you.
Of course. Go ahead, Susie.
I have a suggestion, Heidi. Go beep beep, then say the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Maybe you can unplug your microphone and then plug it back in.
I don't think that's an issue. It might just be Discord being stupid.
Discord is very stupid.
I'm gonna turn off some settings just so the.
Although that was really funny just now. It might just be Discord being stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did that happen? Ah! It could be my connection too. I don't know.
It knows you're insulting it. It's become self-aware.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
We'll stop after this scene. After this is done.
Gosh, it's already 7:30. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do know this scene. I think this scene's really long, if I recall.
They're usually like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we waiting on somebody to Ryoma?
No, I'm just waiting on you. You good?
Oh, I think so. Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. I'm a very great fan of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, and
Oh, you have a copy of Rand's magazine.
yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship.
Oh, this is so exciting! My stories are being read on the other side of the world!
These stories?
That's right. Henry is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite...
Excuse me, sorry.
They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think?
Goodness.
We got the first one.
Oh, we did.
Last night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came.
So you are the author.
Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you'd like. I'm going to call this latest adventure the Speckled Band.
The Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar.
Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. Hi, Zach. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble.
Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually.
Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but... It's a story! Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think. Don't you?
So, do you mean to say... Are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Rand's magazine?
All written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter.
But all the stories I've ever read... are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson.
Susato-san's getting more and more worked up.
Ah, yes. That's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson.
But what about the doctor of medicine part?
That's all true too. I am a doctor of medicine.
No! At 10 years old?
You haven't been around this series much, have you?
At 10 years old.
I only was birthed in this game. Well, how am I supposed to know all this? Well, that's quite incredible.
But...
Never
Dr.
meet your
Wilson
heroes,
is an
Susato.
English gentleman. Huh?
I said never meet your heroes, Susato.
There, Susato-san.
Ah, yes. I did alter the setting slightly, for the stories to be more compelling.
Oh,
Well, it sounds like a little... Oh, well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow.
I suppose it does, yes.
Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world was just falling apart. About before. Hold on, I'm gonna get a swig of water for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What's on your mind? No, don't tell me.
How did you know? That I was a lawyer, and we arrived in London, I mean.
Yes. Oh, and that we have to go to trial tomorrow. How did you know that?
Oh, that's what you mean.
Every detail.
Dang.
Mm,
It got you.
it did. We just heard every detail.
Damn. What happened? Please tell us how you did it. Explain every detail.
Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Runo. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
But you also said that we'd just arrived in London. How did you know that?
I observed the passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket.
Oh.
So, I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs.
The Reaper of the Bailey. I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see.
I didn't realize.
And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded,
Yeah,
the two of you, thank you, the two of you had already had cause to, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face. So, I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case.
I see.
But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow?
Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me that he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling.
A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been.
Mr. Natsume.
Now, Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly. And that's all there is to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct?
They were spot on.
That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction.
You even managed to discern something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery.
Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that.
This is really very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please.
So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man. You were saying...
Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage. But the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene.
Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems.
Apparently, a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene.
A short, shifty-looking, stooped man.
Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt.
Annie.
Soseki-san said that he didn't see anybody else on the street at all. But it seems there were witnesses after all.
Hurley used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking stooped man, shivering in fear.
Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time.
Of course it did. He's a great detective.
Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it?
Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly.
Hurley says that London is rife with crime.
Oh.
Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently.
Oh dear. I hadn't realized the situation was so dire.
And that's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person.
That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system.
I suppose it is. But in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki-san. I'm Japanese, I can pronounce names. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative.
Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well.
Ah, well. I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene.
Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, Yes, Mr. Natsume? Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there.
Iris, do you know where those lodgings are?
Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there?
Yes, we know Inspector Gregson.
Ah, goody! In that case... Give Gregsy this from me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know.
What is this?
A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems.
Iris' postcard has been entered into the court record.
It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem." Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it?
Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try.
Good luck, then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon.
We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, it's back to the scene of the crime.
Next week. Oh, wait. One more. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men at Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand.
TBC.
To be continued.
Woo!
Woo!
I think Soseki did it.
Hey, great job, everyone.
Yeah, so Soseki totally did.
Dude, he's
Yeah.
totally shifty. I don't trust him.
He's a shifty-eyed man.
What are you talking about?
You could
I
say
didn't
he's
do
quite
it.
sus.
No.
Oh God.
See, Travis said that. let's draw attention to the fact that Travis said that.
Mhm.
Oh God.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. And thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Remember, spay and neuter your pets.
What?
Yes.
What?
I'm stopping the stream right now.